Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tuesday Night Live with independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator Teresa Harper. I'm located in Oregon in the United States. Thanks so much for joining me. I appreciate you taking time from your day to spend a little with me. So, while we're waiting for everyone to get in, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about this spectacular join offer that Stampin' Up! Is offering beginning tomorrow. Okay, so from October 1st through the 31st of 2025, you can choose up to $125 worth of products. Your choice. Stampin' Up! Does not limit you on what you can or cannot purchase for only $35. Okay. The only stipulation is that you cannot go over that 125, not even 1 penny. So you'll have to strategically look at what you want to do. Get that as close to the 125 as you possibly can. You'll pay only $35. There's no shipping on that. So $35 is what you're going to pay unless you live in a place where there's tax. And then that would maybe affect that. I don't know, because we here in Oregon do not pay taxes. So $35 is the total cost for us here. Okay. And if you don't want that one, then there's a second join offer where you can choose up to $189 worth of products and pay only $99. Now, I personally think this is the better deal. However, if you were wanting to get the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, you couldn't do it with the first offer, so you would need to choose the second offer. Okay? All right, and again, those run October 1st through 31st. I will put a QR code in the comment link, and you'll be able to find it there. Or if you go back and look on the Thursday post, I put it on Thursday's post, there is a photo with the QR code, so you can check that out. All right, so let's see who we have on here. Hi, Tracy. Hi, Laura. Hi, Cynthia. And then we'll get started. So I'm going to do something I don't think I've ever done this before. I thought I would take the Fall for Toile Paper Pumpkin kit and show you what's in a kit first. And then we're going to make the cards, but we're not going to make them exactly like they are, because I want to show you how you can take that paper pumpkin kit and extend it. And this particular one has a really nice stamp set in it, as well as it coordinates with the Fall for Toile. Is that what it's called? The Suite. Autumn Toile. It coordinates with the Autumn Toile suite of products in the September to December 2025 mini catalog. Okay, so let's go ahead and open up our box. You always get an ink spot. This month is Cajun Craze. I have not opened mine because I have a full-size pad that I'll be using. You get clear color instructions for each of the cards to follow. All the adhesives that you need. This is the stamp set, and it comes on clear plastic, and mine are all on blocks. So that's, you couldn't see it as well as you can with this anyway. So we'll just look here. We'll be using pretty much all of these tonight. The only one we won't be using is the Warm Wishes. And then, oh, this is extra. That wasn't in here. These are card bases that I've already cut. You get some sentiment pieces, and those are all die cut. All you have to do is punch them out. This kit includes some ribbon, these beautiful card front layers. Then you've got a couple of sheets of these. Okay. You've got a sheet of brown metallic foil leaves, these card fronts, and then here are your card bases. So this kit makes 3 of each of 3 designs, and when they print them front and back. Okay, so this is how you make it go a little bit further. And then we have matching envelopes. Okay, so you get 3 envelopes of each of the 3 designs. All right, so we're going to put those back. We're going to take one of these, and one of these. I'm going to try to make all 3 cards and an additional product. We'll see if the additional happens. Okay, so for our first card, let's do card number 1. And I didn't change these up that much, but I did change them up enough that I can get some extra card bases. So we're going to start with this one. And so we need a card front like this. Okay? Now, I think it's a shame to use all that. So what I did was I took the card base and I just cut it in half. Okay? So there's card number 1. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim this up a little bit because I want this to go down to 4 by 5 1/4. Okay, so you cut that card base in half and then trim this to 4 by 5 1/4. All right, and then I'm going to take this. Now you only have 3 of these and you can't make these stretch, or maybe you could, but I don't want to because these are fabulous as they are. So we're going to take those Stampin' Dimensionals that come in the kit. Hello, Jennifer. Did I say hello, Lynette? If not, hello, Lynette. And I'm just going to put on some of these Stampin' Dimensionals randomly. And yes, probably overkill. But I don't like saggy cards. Oh, here, let's get that straight like that. There we go. To line up the straight edges so they don't stick out. Okay, and then we'll put one up here. Okay, now let's take all those backings off. These cards will come together fairly quickly. We're not going to do a bunch of extra stuff, but we are going to have some extra card bases that we can do some other things with down the road. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll center this up. Actually, hang on. I did that way before and it was a little bit more difficult. So I'm going to bring in a piece of Cajun Crease cardstock. This is a half a sheet of 8.5 by 11. So I've cut it at 5.5 and scored it at 4 1/4. And actually I needed 2 of these, so I scored my whole piece of 8.5 by 11 at 4 1/4 and then cut it at 5.5. Okay, so let's go ahead and add this. Now, Stampin' Up! Actually had you, well, I guess they didn't. Never mind. Wouldn't matter at this point because we're doing it this way. We're just going to put this down like this and center it on that Cajun Craze. And then we're going to add our tree frame. I love this tree frame. It is so, so pretty. Okay, so we've got that. Now we're going to take, I should have set my cards up so I could see what I needed to do, but I didn't. We're going to take this, we're going to pull out one of these, and then we need a thankful, which is in here. Right here, we're going to pull out one of these, and we're going to set the rest of this aside. And from the stamp set, we're going to take the acorns. Now, Stampin' Up! Only gave you a Cajun Craze stamping spot, but that's not what I wanted to do. So we're going to take Early Espresso because I have it, and we're going to add that. I think I need to re-ink my pad. Okay, and then I'm going to take some Stampin' Blends. And I'm going to give these a quick color. The kit says that you should just stamp it and call it good in Cajun Craze, and that's just not me. So we're not going to do that. These are my alternates. They're not all that much alternate, but I don't think I know how to take a kit and just make them exactly as they're supposed to be, because that's just not my style. Okay, so then I'm going to take the medium deep SU 300 and color in the acorn caps. All right, and then this is where I brought in, oh no, it's not. Never mind, psych, I did that later. Okay, so now we're going to take this and put our Stampin' Dimensionals right here. Take the Thankful. I'm going to add this in right over here like this. Okay, and then I want to add this here, but in order to make sure that it goes where I want it, which I should have moved this over, just let's see if I can move this still. If you twist a little bit, you should be able to get that stuff off. And I didn't push it on there real hard. So let me move that over a bit, like so, because I want this to go right here like this. Now, I don't want to fuss with where I need to put my dimensionals. So I'm just going to put a dimensional there and a dimensional here. And then I'm just going to put this here like that. Okay. And then let's see, hang on, what did I do with the... We're going to put this on the inside of our card. Okay, so this is a pumpkin from the stamp set and some birds. Okay, so we're just going to take this and put this in here, like so. Okay, and then of course we've got a matching envelope. Okay, so we can set that aside. Now let's go on to card number 2. And let's do this one. So for this one, we need this linen card base. And again, I've already cut this in half, but I'm going to cut this down to 4 by 5 1/4 again. This is actually the other half of the card I made previously. So we're going to cut that down and save these bits because you can put them on the insides of your cards. And then we're going to grab a piece of scrap paper here. And there are 3 leaves in this kit, and we're supposed to stamp these all over here randomly. So I put my 3 on one block all together because I don't want to be trying to do each one individually, figuring out how they go. So I just put all 3 on one block. I'm going to ink those up, and I'm going to randomly stamp all over this background, turning my stamps as I go so that they look random and not the same each time. Okay, so there we go. So now this is ready. We're going to add this to a piece of pecan pie card base. Okay, so I've got pecan pie here. I do need to score this because apparently I didn't do that ahead of time. So we're going to score that at 4 1/4. My brain stopped there for a minute. Okay. And we're going to do this. Now this particular card, I'm sorry, I guess I should have showed you what the cards are supposed to look like. So this is the card that we just made that I changed up just a little bit. This is the card that we're working on right now. Okay. So Stampin' Up! Has given us several of these leaves, and they want you to put 2 sets of these leaves together. But if we're going to stretch our supplies, because these are supposed to go kind of like this, right? But if we're going to stretch that, we need to only use 1. Okay? And then we're going to take one of these circles. We're going to pull this one out. This is where we're going to bring in that metallic foil, brown foil. We're going to stamp on this, and we're going to stamp wishing you the happiest of days. So let's get our Cajun Craze ink pad. Move that out of the way. Ink that up. Wishing you the happiest of days. I'm going to let that soak into the paper. Okay. And then we're going to take a 2 3/8 inch circle punch and punch out some of that metallic brown. Now, all of the extra stuff that I'm using is in the Autumn Toile suite that's in the catalog that coordinates with this kit. We're going to add this sentiment circle to the metallic circle. Okay, center that up as best we can. Okay, there we go. I don't like to use liquid glue on metallic because if it just makes a mess and you can't get it off. So we're going to take this piece here and we're going to just put one here. I'm going to take one of these. Okay. I want this to kind of go like this. All right. Oh, hang on. Let's put this down first. Then we'll know what we're working with. Were you guys yelling at me going, hey, you need that piece that you stamped? It's a very nice paper pumpkin. I am very happy with this one. It's been some fun. Okay, so now there we go. Then we're going to add this piece. And we're just going to audition this. Put this in here. Now that looked a little plain to me. This way, we've got some ribbon. And of course I want my ribbon to last. So I cut one of the pieces in half because all we're supposed to do with this is stick it out the bottom anyway. So I just don't see wasting a whole bunch of ribbon. We might as well put it to good use. So I'm going to take a glue dot. These are the glue dots that come in the kit. And I'm going to put one of these right here. Take your pick tool is a great tool to have for this kind of stuff. And we're just going to stick that like that. Okay. Then we're going to take a glue dot here and here. I'm going to lift those up. Okay. And then I'm going to stick this about right here, like that. Okay. So now I've got my ribbon on. I made my ribbon. Now I could make 6 cards or 4 cards to double that because of the way I did it. But this still looked a little plain to me. So I thought, what can I do to make up for that extra set of leaves, right? Well, there's a couple things that you could do because there are some add-on dies that you can get to go with the paper pumpkin. And these are those. I actually do have them. And I could have cut this little leaf and stuck some out, but I didn't want to. So what I did was I took some basic white cardstock, some early espresso ink, and I stamped 3 sets of these. And I colored them with the pecan pie markers and that SU 300 deep. Okay, So just 3 sets of these. And you do have to fussy cut them. I'm okay with that. They don't take that long. Fairly easy. Okay. So let's just do a quick fussy cut. When you're fussy cutting, your non-dominant hand drives the cardstock. Cut off all this extra stuff we don't need. So turn your cardstock. Open and close your scissors with your dominant hand. Keep the paper in the fulcrum of the scissors and leave just a bit of a white border. Now, some people like to leave a much whiter border than I do, but I have a lot of practice at fussy cutting, so I tend not to leave a bunch. Okay? And there you have it. That did not take very long at all. Okay, so now we need 3 of these. And I'm going to put one right here. And where are my other ones that I already cut out so you didn't have to watch that? Here we go. So we just need 2 of these. And then we're going to take and put one here. And I didn't bother coloring those because I didn't need to. I'm going to stick this here like so. Okay, and then that is going to give me a more balanced look. Now, when you're doing this, each card is supposed to have 3 leaves. Oh, I guess they did give me extra. No, I'm making 3 cards of each. Okay, so no extra. So I just took 2 on the one card, and then I'm only using 1 on here. Okay, so I'm going to put this together, but what I'm going to do first, I'm going to actually move these out, and I'm going to grab some seal. You could use the glue dots. I'm going to put this down about where I think I want it, making sure that I stay on my card. Okay, so I'm going to put that on there. And then this is where I am going to use one of those glue dots because these things are so, the metallic part, I don't want to get all sticky where I don't want it. Because like I said, it makes a mess and then you can't get it off. Okay, so we're going to take this and we'll back it in here like so. Okay, and then I've already got sticky here, so really all I need to do is take and stick that in there like that. I'm actually going to use a mini glue dot because it's easier. And I have them handy. And then I'll stick this one in here like that. And oh my goodness. And then we'll stick this one down here like so. Okay. Oh, I know what I forgot to put on the last card, you guys. I forgot the embellishments. Okay, so now I'm going to take this and I'm going to flip this all over. And I'm going to add some glue dots or some dimensionals and pop this up. And where these things are coming together, I'm going to add a dimensional there just to secure it a little bit better. And I'm feeling like I might have a little bit of an empty space. Let's put this here. All right. We'll go back and add our gems. This kit did not come with gems, but the Cajun Craze and gold dots go perfectly with this. Oops. Feels like I got a little bit of sticky right there. Oh, I didn't get that glue dot in there quite right. Hang on. Let's get that back where it needs to go. Oh, okay, there we go. Oh, now I've got it where I got the glue dot. Or the dimensional. Let's fix that too. Boop. All right. There we go. Now we're good. Okay. So let's grab the Cajun Craze and gold dots. These, I believe, are actually from the Gathering Moments Sweeter products. But these are perfect for this card. So we're just going to stick one there. I'll stick a medium one up here. And then we'll grab a large one and put it right there. And there is our card. Okay. Now for the inside of this one, let's just grab an inside piece here. That's got the white linen. So I don't want to put the white linen on. I want to, well, let's see. What did I do with all those little pieces? Oh, right here. Okay. Actually, I'm going to go with this one as a can. Although that one has a tree and you can see it sideways on that. So let's just put this in here. But before we put that on, I want to take and stamp the acorns. Oh my goodness. Where are my words? And we're just going to stamp these down here. Okay. I really need to re-ink that. That seems really light. And then we're going to take the leaves and we're going to stamp those right there in that corner. Okay, then we'll take a little bit of liquid glue here. Just run a little strip along there. Some Tombow mono adhesive liquid glue, or lovingly known as green glue. And we'll just run that across there. And I know you guys thought, oh, she's going to leave that blank? No, she's not, because she can't. I could, but I just can't. So we'll color that cap in the SU300. And then put light pecan pie here. but I am going to leave the leaves plain. Okay, and then we're going to take our snips, snip that down. Okay, and this will go on the inside of our card. I need to move these things. Nope. Okay, and here is our card. So there's card number 2. Just a variation. Okay. And now let's move on to card number 3. So I hardly changed anything on card number 3. I'll have you know, I really didn't do much. I took a Cajun Craze card base. Again, 5.5 by 8.5, scored in the center at 4.25, and let's do a much better job of that. Okay, so there we go. Now, this one has, we actually have to get this card base because I used that, the other side of that card base for a project coming up. Okay, so we're going to take this card base. I'm going to pull out our trimmer. And we're going to cut this in half at 4.25. All right. We're going to need this for later. And then I'm going to trim this down to 4 1/8. Saving that piece by 5 3/8. Okay, those will be our inside pieces. All right. Now this one, for this one, we need this. Okay. Now, I suppose you could cut this in half. I didn't want to do that, so I'm not going to. Because I liked the whole thing. You could cut it in half, I suppose, and get, 2 cards out of that piece. I just didn't want to do that because I really like the card. Okay, so now we're just going to take this piece, and Stampin' Up! Has you popping that up, but I'm not going to, because that would give you a double pop-up, and I don't like to do double pop-ups, especially with the dimensionals that Stampin' Up! Has given us. Okay, so then for this card, we need this little fox and these little pumpkins. Okay, and then we need some, before we do anything else, we need to stamp our little birds, which are here in Cajun Craze. Trying to make sure I'm stamping them right side up. Okay. And then we're going to pop these up on some dimensionals. Thanks, Tracy. I thought the gems were perfect. Thought they coordinated very, very well. Almost like they were meant to go. And when they didn't give us any gems, I had to make my own. Okay, so we'll add that there. our little fox is going to go right here in the dirt next to the corn. And then all we need to do is make the inside of our card for this. So let's grab another card base. And these are card layer. These are 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. Oh, I got an extra. Okay, and then we're going to take these pumpkins and we're going to use early espresso. Oh, hang on. Let me lay this down here. And then we'll move that out of the way. Okay, now we've got our pumpkins. We'll take some glue. Run a bead right across the bottom. Make it look like those pumpkins are sitting on that. Okay. And then we'll trim that up. Take the Cajun craze. And we're going to take those birds again. And we'll put them right there. Okay, now I'm going to take some Timid Tiger for the pumpkin because these pumpkins are Timid Tiger. Okay, so I'm going to start with the light Timid Tiger. I'm going to go down here at the bottom. Okay. And we're just going to do this quick. Okay. And then I'm going to go back with my dark Timid Tiger. And I'm basically going to go over what I just did with the light. Okay. And then we'll go back with the light. And we'll fill that all in. Leaving a little bit of white space for a shine on the pumpkin. Okay. All right. And then we're going to take the medium deep and color in the stems. Okay, and now the inside is ready for our card. Okay, and again, let's grab our gems. What I do with my take your pick tool. Oh my goodness, I laid it down somewhere it shouldn't have been. Now I don't know where it's at. Darn. Okay, well, I'll use my scissors. I'm not sure, you guys. Oh, okay, let's just go. These will work. Well, maybe they'll work. Come on. I really need my take your pick tool. I just can't. There it is. I pulled that one right off of the dot. Of course, my take your pick tool was sitting right there where I need it, where I could see it. I just wasn't. Okay, come on. Why are you gems being so stinky? Oh, I forgot the sentiment. That's going to be kind of important. Hang on. Hello. Okay, let's take one of these stickers. I'm like, wait a minute, there's no sentiment there. Okay, so we're going to take this. I'm going to bring in my silicone mat so that I don't have white on white. And we're going to take the Thinking of You. Now, all of these images are, oh, that was almost a disaster, are from the Paper Pumpkin stamp set that comes in the kit. Okay, so now we've got our Thinking of You. And again, we're going to pop this up. Okay, put the take your pick tool back where it belongs, Teresa. So you're not looking for it later when you need it. Okay, here we go. Let's take this. We're going to put this right along the side here. Like so. And then we'll take that last gem and put it right there. Okay? So there you have it. Those are 3 kind of alternatives from the Fall for Toile Paper Pumpkin. Now, I've got one last that I created, and it's a 3D project. Do you want to see it? These are the cards. What did I do with the other card? Oh my goodness. I'm having a heck of a time keeping track of stuff over here. So those are the 3 cards that we made. Oh no, Tracy, I was going to use one. I just got sidetracked. Let's go ahead. We got to put our gems on here too. I just covered those up too. Oh my goodness. 1, 2, and actually I'm going to move this one if I can. There we go. Move this one just a tiny bit. There we go. Got it. Happy with that. All right. Okay. So I came up with a 3D project. Oh, thanks, you guys. Got 10 minutes. Let's get going. Okay, so we are going to start with a piece of cardstock that is 4 3/4 by 7. Okay. You're going to score on the 4 3/4 inch side at 1. Rotate 180 degrees, score at 1 inch. Put on the 7-inch side, score at 1 inch and 3 inch. Rotate 1 inch and 3 inch. Okay? Now, we're going to add some pieces using the branching out dies. Okay? So we're going to use this and this. Okay, so out of 1/2 of one of your card bases, you're going to cut one of the second to the smallest. Okay, I've already done that. And then out of the Autumn Toile paper, this pumpkin pattern, you're going to cut one of these And the way I did that, I want to show you guys. I cut a piece of that paper that was 3¼ inches by 12, and then I cut these as close as I could. Okay, so I got 6 out of a 3¼ by 12-inch piece. All right, so let's grab those pieces. I have them in a little plastic baggie here, ready to go. All right, because I did a lot of this ahead of time because I knew we were going to be short on time. Okay, so here's our piece from the paper pumpkin. Here's our piece from the autumn toile. Then I stamped and fussy cut using Cajun craze. I stamped those pumpkins in early espresso and colored them in Cajun craze and then fussy cut them out. I took the thankful sentiment, stamped it on early espresso cardstock in Versamark, and then used the Wow white embossing powder to make my greeting, and then I fussy cut it out. And apparently I didn't do it very straight. Okay, so these are our pieces. And then you also will need an early espresso second to the largest or second to the smallest piece. And because I'm anal, I cut 2. Okay, because you could do this as it is, but then you'll have white, and I don't like that. So I'm going to take and put these together. And I'm going to turn this one upside down so that I'm putting backs to the back. And what that's going to do is give me a nice finished side, on both the top and the bottom here. Okay. So I'm not going to have white showing through, and I'm going to have nice stitching. Okay. And then I'm just going to put those together. Okay. Let's go ahead and quickly cut our, put our box together here. So we're going to burnish on all of our score lines. And you'll see just how fast this can go together. Okay, so we're going to cut up all the score lines. I'm going to cut straight on the large rectangle, angle cut the small squares to the first score line here, and I'm going to do that with all of these scores. So cut up straight on the large rectangle, angle cut the square, going to cut up straight, angle cut the square, and turn it 180 and do the same thing on this side. Straight on the square, angle, or straight on the rectangle, angle cut the square. Okay. All right. So now this is, everything is exactly the same, but now I'm going to choose which end I'm going to have be my front. Both of these are identical, so I'm just going to take a little circle punch here, and I'm going to cut a little thumb notch in here. Okay. So now this is going to become my box top, and that's important to note. So now I'm going to take and fold these rectangles in. I'm going to leave this notch part alone, and I'm going to cut about 1/3 off of each of these 4 tabs. Okay. And that's just going to make my box go together a little nicer. And I'm not doing it on these because these are going to be the top of my box, and I don't have anything to meet with this so that they would overlap and cause bulk. If I didn't do that on here, these two pieces would overlap and cause bulk. Okay, so now we're going to put a little tear and tape here. Thank you, you guys. I'm glad you love those cards. I know it's not often that I don't think I've ever done a paper pumpkin one before. I just really liked those, and I thought, well, I could do a little thing. And of course, the October kit will be coming out, and you can subscribe up until October 10th, and then you won't be able to get it anymore. But at least if you've never seen the paper pumpkin kit, you know what you can expect. Okay, I'm just going to put down some tear and tape here on all four of these tabs. Oh, I forgot one thing I wanted to show you guys you could do. It doesn't take very long. Okay, I'm not adding a bunch of paper to these because the idea is to make these quick, use a little bit of the kit materials. Okay, so I'm not putting designer series paper here. So what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to find my scrap piece of paper that I had laying here, which is right here. Here's one of them. Where's my other one? Well, this will work. Okay, so I'm going to take the leaves. I'm going to clean this stamp because I used Cajun Craze. And now I want early espresso. And I'm going to grab my early espresso ink pad. I'm going to take that stamp. This is going to be the top lid of my box, right? Going down. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to randomly stamp some stuff there. This is going to be the side that you're going to see on the outside of the side here. So I'm going to stamp there. And again on the opposite side. All right. Now I'm not going to see these because they're going to be covered by these, but I will see the back. So I'm going to take that piece, and this is just scrap cards. This is not regular Stampin' Up! Cardstock. This is like copy paper, a little heavier than copy paper, but you could use copy paper. And I'm just going to cover that up and randomly stamp that back. Then we're going to move it down here to the front. And there we go. Okay. Now this is ready to assemble. Okay. So I'm going to start on these 4 smaller ones because they're going to fold in to make the box bottom. I'm going to remove all of the tape all at once. On those 4, I'm going to leave the tape on those. And then I'm going to put cut side to score, cut side to score, cut side to score, and cut side to score. Give that a press. Now you could use whatever you want you could use liquid glue if you wanted, but I didn't want to hold it. So I'm using my tear and tape, and then I'll just give those a good burnish. Okay, and now for these, I'm going to remove these pieces. And remember, this is a symmetrical top, so I need to make sure when I do this that it's going to fold over the bottom correctly. So I'm going to put my box together like this, fold this top down, fold the side in while the box is tight there, and then I'll give that a press. And then I'll go to the other side, holding that together over the bottom, and put those pieces together. And now I know it fits because I put the top together around the box. So there's no way that top can be too tight. Okay, so now I've got this. Let's close that. Let's get those sides to get out of there. Okay, there we go. Now, we've got these two pieces. This is going to be my bottom piece. It's the one that doesn't have the card base from the kit. I'm going to turn this upside down so that I've got the back side facing up. I'm going to take the bottom of my box, put some liquid glue on there, and I designed this to be a very tight fit. This is the front of my box, so I'm going to turn this around to the back. So I've got the back side toward me, and then I'm going to carefully lay that at the very edge of that die cut. Okay, I want those two to butt up right next to each other. That's the way I designed the box. Okay, now my bottom's together. I'm going to give that a quick rub. All right, again, the front of my box, I'm going to turn this upside down. I'm going to turn this upside down so that this is at the bottom. This is the front of my box. I'm going to turn it around. I'm working at the back of my box, putting my glue on. And then I'm going to lay the back of my box right up to the edge of that die cut. Okay. And because it's liquid glue, I can slide that right into place. Okay, and by doing it that way, I'm going to have a little bit of lip in the front, but when I go to open my box, that hinge is not going to be impeded by the overhang. Okay? All right, let's decorate. So now we're going to take this piece of designer series paper that we have, and believe it or not, I'm letting the designer series paper do most of the work here. So we're going to center this up. Okay. I'm going to take those pumpkins and our dimensionals. Get off there. And I'm going to set these pumpkins right here in the corner, right over the top of those smaller pumpkins. And then I'm going to take my Thankful and I'm going to add this right here, like so at the edge. And then we're going to take some of this open weave, irregular weave trim. This was in the Autumn Toile Suite. And I'm going to take just a bit of this. This is kind of stiffer, so I like to take my bone folder. I'm not going to tie a ribbon with this. I'm just going to tie a knot. So I don't need very much. And I'm going to save myself some ribbon, so I'm just going to tie it on the bolt. So I'm just going to pull that through. Pull that through like that. Give that a quick trim. And a quick trim. Then we're going to take a glue dot, which we could use the glue dots from the kit, but these are more handy. Oh, and I need to trim that up because that is way too long on that side. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to put this right here under the Thankful. And the last thing we need to finish this off, let me put these out of the way so I don't lose them, is those Cajun Craze and gold dots. And we're just going to go 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and then we're going to fill this up. We're going to grab a Ghirardelli pumpkin and some Werther's pumpkin spice soft caramels. These are limited edition. So we're just going to put a couple of those in here. And oh, I think I can get one more in there. I think I can. Let's see. Might be too much. Nope, too much. All right, there we go. Okay, so this is what I have to share with you tonight from that Paper Pumpkin kit, plus the Autumn Toile Suite. So we've got that, and I did want to show you because I showed you how you cut those. Here's one pattern, 2 patterns, and 3 patterns, and then they repeat. So out of those 6, you'll get 2 of this pattern, 2 of this one, and 2 of this one. And for this one, I just took those acorns colored with Cajun Craze and pecan pie after I stamped them in early espresso. And I discovered that you can easily color that open weave trim. So I took my dark Cajun Craze marker and made that bow to coordinate. Okay, so this is what we made tonight with the kit. I hope you enjoyed that. And there you have it. Okay. Thanks, guys. You knew I had to do something extra. And I thought, how can I use one of those card fronts and make a 3D project? All right. Thanks so much for joining me. If you need to order any of your Stampin' Up! Supplies, be sure and head on over to the Facebook page, my business Facebook page. There'll be a link there to my online store. Appreciate it, all your orders. Thanks, everybody, for showing up. And I will be back live Thursday night at 7 p.m. on YouTube. Oh, thanks, Anne. And welcome. I didn't even know you were on. So Thursday night, 7 p.m. on YouTube. Otherwise, I'll see you back here next Tuesday night at 7 p.m. right here on Facebook. Thanks, everybody. Good night.